My favorite part about this channel are the questions that you guys ask me, whether it's about guitar gear, whether it's about guitars, whether it's about guitar playing, whether it's what I do with my hair. I always get a kick out of responding to everybody. And somebody asked me, what is my favorite amp? Well, about that. Alright, so the first amp I want to talk about is the Soldano Hot Rod 50 Plus. This was the first really nice amplifier that I ever bought, mostly because two of my favorite players, George Lynch and Warren DeMartini, played Soldanos, and namely they played snakeskin Soldanos. So when I saw this amp come up, I absolutely had to buy it. It cost me a lot of money, and I distinctly remember getting it home, plugging it in, and I think I put the gain on the overdrive channel like at about 1. And I plugged it in and I got this, and I just remember having the biggest smile come over my face when I did it. This is with the gain on 1. And I was like, alright, well this is going to be a bit of a party, so I turned it up to 2, and I turned it up to 3, and at 3 it starts to get really, really distorted already. I mean, this goes to 11 in it, but you only really need to have the gain probably around 4 as a maximum for my taste anyway, so here it is at 3. Which is plenty enough to play rock and roll, but because I'm not a savage and we're living in the modern era, I'll boost it with a tube screamer in the front, and this is what that sounds like. Furthermore, if you really crank the gain and with the tube screamer still on, you can get into metal territory with it, which is pretty hip. So that's the first on my list of favorite amps. Let's move right along now. Right, next is this Marshall DSL 50. This actually isn't my amp. It belongs to Ryan, the singer and bass player in my band Ragdoll. And it's really nice of him to acknowledge that he's never going to get this amp back because it sounds amazing. Firstly, for a Marshall, it has a really great clean sound. So that's the clean channel. The reason I love this amp though is the red channel, namely lead mode number 2. You only need to have the gain at like 3 or 4 with this, you don't have to overdo it, and it's just, to me, the perfect Marshall sound. I know lots of people like their JCM 800s and their Plexis and stuff like that. This amp to me just sounds like rock and roll. It sounds like a Marshall should. This amp just works. Okay, and last but not least, the dual rectifier. This is an old 2-channel Revision G, even though it's got the Revision F small logo. These are nerdy things that people who own dual rectifiers like to talk about. It's actually a really versatile amp. You've got a great sounding clean channel on them. There's a channel cloning. You can choose between bold and spongy power, solid state and tube rectification. And then you can also dial in some really nice low gain tones. I've got a lot of stuff on my channel with this particular amp, but this was the amp that I used to track 90% of the stuff on the Fractal album Back to Zero, basically because I'm such a huge fan of King's X, and Ty Tabor used an early dual rectifier on Dogman, and that to me is just the heaviest thing in the universe. So what we're going to do is have a listen to this dual rectifier with it dialed in with my PRS, and I've got the Tube Screamer on for this because they're so flubby and gross that you need to shape the pre-EQ and pull a lot of low end out just because these amps naturally have so much low end. Here we go. Hopefully that goes part of the way to explaining why I like my favorite amps and how I use them. If there was a particular one that stood out to you, why don't you tell me about it? If you have any other questions that you want answered, leave a comment and I will do my best to put together a Q&A video for all of you. Thank you, and as always, hit subscribe.